Hey everyone, I welcome you all back to this series we started 2 weeks ago, where I go over the best Pokemon of a certain typing to use in every single game. We started with the normal typing initially, and asked you all to vote in the comment section on which typing you wanted to see next. And the clear winner was the water typing. I will admit, the water typing does usually show up at the end of these series, so it's a little refreshing to have it at the beginning this time around. That said, the water typing is pretty hard to cover. It has the most Pokemon under its belt, and some pretty powerful ones at that. So the competition is strong, with no easy answer for which reigns supreme in each game. Speaking of which, I'm curious of which Pokemon you all believe is the strongest water type in Pokemon Black and White 2 before we dive in the video. Let me know in the comments below right now and see if you end up being right by the time we get there. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we can hop into the video. We've got to start off with red, blue, and yellow, of course. And with this one, there was a lot of deliberation about it. I thought about it myself, asked for an opinion or two, and finally, I decided that the best water type isn't actually Lapras, but instead Slowbro. See, if you guys watched my upload last week of the Charizard best team for red and blue, I ended up using Slowbro on it instead of the usual Lapras. And it turned out to be a really good option. See, Slowbro is of course slow. It isn't going to be really outspeeding any of the major threats in the first generation. And of course, speed is an important thing in those games. However, regardless of that, there's two major things that go into making Slowbro the best water type to use in those games. Access to Amnesia, and its psychic typing. Slowbro can use Amnesia to raise its special stat by 2 stages, which is a big deal considering its 2 stab typings are special in the first generation. Then, with the psychic typing, you'll be able to tank your way through the Battle of Sabrina and go back at her using Amnesia with a move like Surf, which will pretty much wash your team away. It is interesting that after all of this time, just figuring Lapras was the best, it turns out Slowbro is instead. Alright, we now return to your regularly scheduled programming as we go to Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And I decided that Lapras was for sure the best option for these games. Lapras thrived prior to the physical special split like a few other Pokemon did, that's for sure. And without the worries of red, blue, and yellow, Lapras comfortably sits in here as the best option for these games. You can get it very easily after you acquire Surf, and all this considered, it'll be a nice option for the whole of the game after you get it. You'll be able to give Jasmine the business with a Lapras, and of course, Claire's dragon types aside from Rakindra. Plus, honestly, considering the fact that Lapras has access to Ice Beam at a really early level, it's a prime candidate to just sweep Lance if you really want to. Really, the access to Water Stab with Surf and Ice Beam is super great for Lapras, and it just comes together to really put it above and beyond all the other options. The natural set of games to move on to next are Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And guys, this one's pretty simple. It's gotta be Swampert. This thick boy is not just the best starter for these games, but definitely the best water type to use. There's certainly other options out there too, don't get me wrong, but while we still don't have the physical special split, Swampert is the one to go with. Its access to Stab Earthquake and 2 great stab options in Surf and Waterfall just sort of makes it push past Pokemon like Gyarados, Tentacruel, and Milotic. Well, really the thing that holds Milotic back is not being easy to get by any sort of stretch of the imagination. Yeah, though it doesn't take much convincing to say Swampert is the best in these Hoenn releases. We've got to stick in the 3rd generation though to talk about Fire Red and Leaf Green. And spoiler alert, the best water type this time is not Slowbro. No. Instead, I found myself focusing on 2 Pokemon. One that's best for Fire Red, and the other for Leaf Green. So in Fire Red, I think the best water type to use is Lapras, much like with Gold, Silver, and Crystal. It's got a lot of great qualities, and really can get tons out of its water and ice type stab, as well as a few coverage moves. Honestly, it would probably be the top option for both games, if not for the fact that Starmie is available in Leaf Green. See, Starmie does outclass in power and speed, and while it lacks the bulk, it really doesn't need it. Psychic will be stab on Starmie, and Surf will hit even harder, making it a top tier option to fight through the Kanto region under 3rd generation mechanics. It can crush most of the Elite Four with the move pool it's got, and handle almost every gym besides Erica with ease. Starmie is a must use in Leaf Green, no doubt. Well now, we can step into the world of modern day Pokemon with that physical special split, and talk Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, which all share the same best water type to use, Gyarados. Finally, it's taken 3 generations for Game Freak to do what was right for Gyarados, and they managed to do so just by introducing this split. For a long time, Gyarados has no way to truly take advantage of its high physical attack in a reliable way. But when the split came, that changed, as Waterfall became a physical move, and definitely the best Gyarados has access to. There are other moves in its pool, like Ice Fang and of course Earthquake, which are incredible to run on it as well. The only issue that faces Gyarados is that it has little to no options for flying type moves. But honestly, that is completely fine in Sinnoh. You can get access to Magikarp really early, and using these strong physical moves is enough to earn it a staying spot on Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum teams if your starter wasn't Empoleon. Alright, so for Heartgold and Soul Silver, I'm not going to spend too much time here and just say that, once again, it's Lapras. It's still a tremendous choice coming out of Generation 3, and its move pool expands a little bit more. It's a great Pokemon, honestly, and fitting for Heartgold and Soul Silver, which aren't always the easiest games to get good moves in. Alright, so now we're on to the 5th generation, and we're going to start off with Pokemon Black and White. I gave this one a lot of thought, and looked over several of the new Water-type Pokemon that were introduced in Unova, and I ended up coming up with Seismitoad as the best of the group. Temple is grabbed so early on at the Pinwheel Forest, and you'll only need to get to level 36 by the time it'll turn the Seismitoad, with a little stop at Palpitoad along the way. Its typing leaves it incredibly weak to grass types, but aside from that, there is really no weakness it has to deal with. It hits relatively hard. It could take some hits with that base 1 to 5 HP, packing moves like Drain Punch and Earthquake on the physical end, and stuff like Surf and Scald for water options on the special side. There's plenty of other nice coverage moves that it can get too, on both end of things, like Sludge Bomb and Rock Slide, Grass Knot. Gosh, I feel like there's so much to talk about, and the kind of coverage this giant toad gets access to is pretty huge. That kind of tells the story though, right? It's definitely the best water type to use in Unova. However, I guess what I should really say is that it is the best water type to use in that version of Unova. See, there's Black and White too as well, and I don't really think Seismitoad is the best for those games. Now, that's mostly because you can't even get it until the post-game, so having to pick a different one is made a lot easier by that. There's more options than usual in this new playthrough of Unova, since this time we actually have older Pokemon available to us. But I'm still thinking it's a Unovan Pokemon that takes the cake here. I really like Jellicent for Pokemon Black and White too, among my investigations into Pokemon. There are definitely some others that you could end up using, like Samurott if you chose that as your starter, or something like Swanna if you're really into the utility of having a Surfer and a Flyer all in one. Like I said, I'd like to have gone for Seismitoad again, or maybe Lapras, but the reality is that they're just not really good options for a playthrough of the game. I mean, Jellicent is even something you'll have to get about halfway through your gym challenge, but after you get it, God, it's so worth having with that nice defensive typing, and its broad move pool, which boasts Surf, Shadow Ball, and even Energy Ball. That's actually really interesting to see on Jellicent, and offers a serious response to other water types. And I guess you could say Starmie is an option too, but Starmie's really late game. Jellicent definitely wides the wave in Unova. And yes, I totally see what I did there, and so do you. Alright, so for X and Y, this one is something that really comes down to what you think is good in a certain circumstance. Speed and power, power and typing, or just raw power in general. I personally believe that despite not having Protean in a normal Let's Play, Greninja is the best water type in Kalos to use. It's got a great base 103 special attack stat and some next level base 122 speed, which turns it into a real speedy special attacker that is just, in a word, special. Now, as I said before though, there's a chance you could be on the idea that a Pokemon like a Azumarill is actually the best, as it has huge power, which can make it massively strong, and of course the Briny Fairy typing alongside Playrough, which works in tandem with some physical water type moves. It's pretty good, but if you're really looking for raw power though, you probably immediately imagine using Blastoise for that Mega. Mega Launcher is a cool ability for the few moves that Blastoise has to work with. And all in all, you've got a strong Pokemon when you Mega Evolve. But that's the thing. You have to Mega Evolve, which is a hoop that Greninja doesn't have to jump through. It's all about the frog here in X and Y. And also, one thing I also do want to say is that a lot of the moves that Azumarill and Mega Blastoise get are egg moves. And egg moves are kind of difficult to get, and I'm sure you guys don't want to go through the trouble. So with that said, Greninja is the best in my opinion. Next up, we've got Oras. And I don't need to talk too much about it, as once again, the answer is Swampert. But this time, it Mega Evolves. It gets access to an actual physical Water-type move in Waterfall, which I guess it already had access to, but this time, it's actually physical. That's really big when you go into things planning to use its Mega, as when Swampert Mega Evolves, it gets base 150 attack, which will just slam things throughout this new take on the Hoenn region. It can use Hammer Arm for some coverage too. Its ability changes over to Swift Swim, so if you happen to bring the rain, expect it to get pretty fast. There's not much else to say about Swampert, other than it's pretty good. So for Gen 7, we're going to talk Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon together, as I've got a real conundrum here. I think that there are two Pokemon that each make their claim at being the best water type in this incredibly water-filled region. The first Pokemon I thought about was Primarina. Being the best of the 3 starters helps things out for it, and its typing is really good too. It's a special attacking Water Fairy type, which acts as a nice flip of the script, as we have Azumarill, which was previously the only Pokemon with that particular typing, and it was a physical attacker. The moves Primarina gets via level up, like Sparkling Aria and of course Moonblast, are also pretty dang nice, and they play into its strengths in all the right way. There's plenty of the usual special attacking water type coverage moves, like Ice Beam, Psychic, and Blizzard, which you can run on it. But some other great moves, like Shadow Ball and Energy Ball, are great options too. Now, after saying all that, I'm sure you guys are like, well, that's gotta be the one, right? Well, actually, this other Pokemon I was thinking of is the one I lean more towards, and that's Gyarados. See, Gyarados is great for a lot of the reasons I mentioned back in the Sinnoh part of this video. It's something you can get as soon as you have a fishing rod in both sets of games, and it's also incredibly strong. It can even set up with Dragon Dance, since it learns that via level up, so speed and power will always be on your side. It has nice coverage moves like Crunch, Earthquake, and Ice Fang, but it still acts a really good flying type move. Like, it gets Hurricane by level up, which is great, but it isn't a special attacker, so it doesn't hit as hard as it could. Either way, I think Gyarados, personally, is the best of the Alolan water type options. But you guys let me know down below if you think that Gyarados is better than Primarina or not. I'm generally at a crossroads for this one. Speaking of Gyarados, by the way, a quick shout out to it again, as it's the best water type for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. It learns Outrage via TM in this game, and has a lot of the same nice coverage moves. Though, even then, it still doesn't learn a good flying type move. They really need to change that in one of these releases. Alright, let's wrap this up with the best water type for Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is undoubtedly Dracovish. You guys know this song and dance already. Dracovish is insanely powerful with its Vicious Ren Strong Jaw combo, and it's already so good and competitive that it's been banished to Ubers. So naturally, it's also a tremendous Pokemon to use in a playthrough as well. Its typing is great, being Dragon and Water, meaning it only has 2 real weaknesses, and its move pool includes such hits as Earthquake, Outrage, Iron Head, Psychic Fangs, and Leech Life. This thing is so good that I'm surprised they even thought to make something so OP. I mean, just look at how derpy looking my boy is. I would never suspect that it could, like, bite Arceus' kneecaps off or something. Well, that's gonna do it for this video, looking over the best water type Pokemon for every game. This is of course the biggest typing of all, so I was left with a lot of Pokemon to consider, especially in Hoenn and Alola. I want to know what you guys think though. Did I get this one right? Also, what typing should I do next in the series? Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see where we go from here. So with that said, thank you to everyone for watching the video. Huge thanks to my phenomenal team, and the amazing art done each week by Danny the Demon. I couldn't do all this without them. If you all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too, as it really helps us out. I also do other content on my Twitch, where I stream Genshin Impact, Mystic Zora, where I do Pokemon Let's Plays and other gaming content, and of course MysticSage, where I do all anime content. Right now, I'm focusing on Inuyasha and Yashahime, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. If you'd like to support me even further than that, check out my Patreon. Whether it's a $1 tip to get early thumbnail access, or the $10 tier to get cool perler bead charms and a shout out. There's tons of reasons to join today. These lovely people did, and I thank them all so much for their support. It really means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrion, and I will see you all next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.